completing his brahmachari training in 1993, he served Chinmaya mission centers in Bangalore and Kolkata, and eventually became resident acharya of Chinmaya Mission, Los Angeles. In March of 2000, he was given sannyas diksha by Puja Guruji Swami Tejomayananda and was named Swami Ishwarananda. Swamiji was also made the acharya in charge of Sandipini in Mumbai for the 12th brahmachari batch from 2002 to 2004, after which he returned to continue serving CMLA. Swamiji is presently one of the directors of Chinmaya Mission West, which oversees activities in North America. Swamiji, thank you kindly for sharing your time and your wisdom with us throughout this week. I know we will all benefit greatly and are eager to learn more about Subodha Vedanta. So with that, thank you, Swamiji. I will make you co-host now as well.
Okay. And if you can spotlight me, it'll be good.
Done.
Okay, good. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vitvaram. It gives me great joy to see you all virtually and reconnect. I always love to be in the company of people, the seekers, students of Vedanta, and virtually being with you all also is equally good. The topic that we have taken for this week-long yajna is known as Subodha Vedanta, composed by our own Puja Guruji Swami Tejomayananda. Vedanta is not a difficult subject, but at the same time, any subject is difficult if you lose interest. That's what happens to people when they take up something very enthusiastically, but they do not keep up with the trend or keep up with that continuous learning. Then after some time or halfway through, they get distracted or they lose interest. Guruji also wrote another book called Vedanta Madhuryam. Now the beauty of Vedanta, a very short text. And that is also so beautiful, where he says, Vedanta seemed to be dry, hard. But what is it talking about? Finally, it is about you. And you, who you love the most. If he's talking about you, how can you not have interest in that. Similarly, in this text also, he is trying to establish this beauty of this Vedanta and how to learn, how to study Vedanta. It's a very simply composed verses, not very hard to understand, but I would like you all to spend this next 1 week, this not only this 1.5 hour of the lecture, but also spend some time to reflect on it during the day. We are having it in late evening, so after learning, you'll go to sleep. But next day morning, please open the book again before you start the day. Browse through the verses that we have covered and reflect on the pointers. So I will tell you in each verse what is the main point to think about. That way, you will be able to focus on that. Without further delay, we will start with the verse number 1, page number 1. We actually chant both the verses, number 1 and 2. Vaktum Subodha Vedantam Pravritto Hyabudopyaham Kripaya Yasya Tam Vande Sri Ganesham Punah Punah Vande Saraswatim Devim Sadgurum Me Mahamatim Sita Sameta Sri Ramam Yachantu Shubhadam Matim. In any endeavor, any action we undertake, about result of which we are not sure, we need to pray. Many times when people bring bhiksha, I pray. People say, why are you doing prayer, Swamiji? I don't want to tell you because I'm not sure what will happen to my body. Therefore, I need to pray. So about an action which you are sure about the result, then you don't need to pray. When do we need somebody's help? When we know that what we are going to do will not accomplish it. I need some help, external help. Now, any composition, in all composition, whether it is Shankaracharya or any other great masters, they always start with invocation. Because you don't know who the reader is going to be. So the person who is composing prays that what I'm trying to tell through this composition, may it give the correct understanding to the person who reads. Even Tulsidas ji, he spends in the Tulsi Ramayana many verses in the beginning itself. The prayers for praying for the grace of many different deities. Vande bodhabhayam nityam gurum shankara rupinam yamashritopi vakropi chandra sarvatra vandyate. Sitarama gunagrama punyaranna viharino vande vishuddha vijnano kapishwaro. Many, every beginning of every kanda, he does the prayer. And the first and foremost person to be prayed is Ganesha. Sri Ganesham punah punah vande tam. You see the first verse? Tam vande Ganesham punah punah. Again and again and again. Because he is Vigna Karta, Vigna Arta. Both. We can understand Vigna Harta, meaning one who removes the Vignam. Obviously, God is one who removes the Vignam, right? That's why Vigna Harta. Vignam Harati is the Vigna Harta. But he is also Vigna Karta also. If you are not doing the right thing, he can create trouble for you. Vigna Karta. You know the story, and Ravana was carrying Shivalinga given to him by Bhagavan Shiva. The story probably some of you know. Anyway, let me tell you. And that particular powerful Shivalinga, when he takes it to Lanka, Lanka becomes second Kailasha, becomes very powerful. So the Devatas prayed to Bhagavan Shiva, because Shiva is Ashutosha. He will immediately give whatever the deity wants, the devotee wants. So he gave the Shivalinga to him, and Ravana was carrying very proudly. Then Devatas assembled and said, please do not allow him to take it to that other land, because it's a Rakshasa Bhumi. So you cannot allow that to become a divine abode, because they do not even know how to worship you. So do something. He said, I cannot do anything because I've already given to him. So they went to Ganesha. You do something. He said, don't worry, I will take care of it. So he appeared, and then Bhagavan Shiva has given one condition to him, of course. You can never keep it down until you reach the place where you need to install. The moment you put it on the ground, it cannot be removed. In other words, you cannot take it away. This Ganesha came to know. Okay, good. So on the way, when Ravana was going, Ganesha appeared as a young boy, So then, hey, young Vatu, what are you doing? No, I'm just seeing you going, so I thought I will accompany you for some time. Walking. And in the mind, Ganesha invoked Bhagavan Shiva and said, make Ravana go for nature's call. So Shiva said, okay, why does he want that kind of a thing? Okay, let him. So Ravana got the nature's call. So he said, oh, I cannot have Shivalinga and then go for easing myself also. So he called the Vatu and said, hey, you are anyway coming with me, just hold it in your hand while I finish my, nature's call. But one thing, you never put it down. He said, I will not put it down, but how long it will take for you to finish this? I don't know. I'll come quickly. I'll call you 3 times. If you don't come, I'll put it down. He said, okay, I will come definitely. So he went. So Ganesha told Bhagavan Shiva, let the Ganga flow. So Ravana could not control it, went on and on and on and on. So Ganesha called Ravana 3 times. He didn't come. He put it down there itself. And then let the Ganga stop. So Ravana came hurriedly. By that time, he has put it down. He got so upset. How dare you put it? I told you. I called you for 3 times. If you don't come, I'll put it down. So he tried to remove the Shivalinga by pulling that, the top of that, and put this thumb and pulled it. It won't come. But it made impressions like that of a ear of a cow. If we push it like this. And Ganesha disappeared from that scene. That place became Gokarna in Karnataka. That's a Shiva's form is there, Gokarna. It's under the water. You can only feel it. You cannot see it. So what I'm saying is Vigna Karta also. That's what I'm trying to say. If you do the wrong thing, Bhagavan Ganesha will come and stop it. That very Ganesha, I am trying to speak something about a great knowledge of Vedanta. Vaktam Subodha Vedantam. To expound this composition called Subodha Vedanta, Pravruttaha Aham. I have embarked on speaking about it, but I am Abudaha Api. See, Guruji is humbly saying, even though I'm not that great, I'm not intelligent. I am Abudaha. I'm ignorant. Yet I have the great interest to speak about it. So therefore, Yasya Kripaya, by whose grace I am able to do this, Tam Ganesham Aham Vande Punapuna. That Lord Ganesha, whose grace, because of which I am able to speak about this or write about this, even though I don't know. Meaning what? As much as I know, I will share with you. A true teacher never takes pride in what he does. He gets interested, enthusiastic about it, and he never say, because of me you learned. Never. Gurudev always said, some people asked him, Gurudev, are you realized? He said, no, I'm waiting for you. He never said I am. Because the moment you say I am realized, you are not. It is like, are you sleeping? Yes. Then you're not sleeping. One who has merged into the self can never claim himself to be an individual. And at the same time, for the sake of expressing this knowledge, I not only need the grace of Ganesha, I need the grace of Saraswati. Vande Vani Vinayakau, in Tulsi Ramayana also. What is that? Saraswati gives the appropriate words, while Ganesha is the one who gives the correct way of expressing it. So here, Bande Saraswatim Devim. And who gave me this knowledge? Mahamadim Sadgurum Bande. I gained the knowledge from Mahamadim, one who is mighty intellect, Gurudev. He gave the knowledge. Ganesha gives me the way to express, and Saraswati provides me the language. All the three I need, but more than anything else, when I speak of or when I compose something, I need to have a love for that truth. And that love is in the form of Sri Rama. Sita Sameta Sri Ramam Yachantu Shubhadam Madim. Shubhadam Madim Yachantu. Shubham Dadadi Shubhadam. That very mati knowledge, which is Shubhadam, Shubham, that which gives the auspiciousness. Yachantu, Prayachantu, may it give, provide for. So he had invoked in these two verses Ganesha, Saraswati, Guru, Sri Rama. All these grace is necessary. Now one may say, Swamiji, is it that gods are so bad that we have to beg them for the grace? We have to go on asking them, please bless me, please bless me, please show me your grace. Is it not true that grace is always there? True. Grace is always there, but our gaze is not in that direction. We are not paying attention to that. We are not receiving it correctly. Our receptacle is wrong, even though it is available. If you are a nose block, you cannot say air is absent. Can you say that? Air is there, but your nose is blocked. In the same way, if your mind is blocked with so many negativities, impurities, distractions, then how will it that the grace will flow? As Gurudev would say, may thy grace and flow through us to the world around us. I have to make my mind pure so that the grace of the Lord can come through me. So the grace is always there, but we become fit instruments only when we tune to it. It's like Swami Gurudev used to say, the transistor is there, or radio transistor is there. The waves, the air waves are already there in the atmosphere. When you tune correctly, that transmission will come through that equipment. Even TV or internet, also Wi-Fi, it's there. When you have the correct connection or the link, when you have the correct software, it can pick up that signal and then you can work. In the same way, if our mind is tuned to that, we will start receiving that grace. Otherwise, even when it is everywhere, we will not be able to enjoy that presence of the Lord, the grace of the Lord. Therefore, invocation is to tune ourselves. It looks like seeking Bhagavan's grace. In other words, it is making our mind fit instrument to receive it. Now, having said this, this is the first one. First chapter is over. Wow, such quick. One chapter is over. The second chapter is about who is a fit student who can become a student of Vedanta. Anybody who has a book of Vedanta can be a student of Vedanta? No. Now you see the next two verses, page number 5. Purvarjitena punyena sarveshanugrahena cha jayate tattva jignasa pritiryasya paratmani kripa patrassa evayam gurum seveta bhaktitah bhavete naiva yogyascha sadhana abhyasa tatparah. First and foremost thing is Purvarjita Punya. What makes a person fit to be a student of Vedanta is the meritorious deeds performed in the past. Even as a human being, we are able to survive. Even this birth is because of Purvarjita. Purva Arjita. Arjita collected. Punyena. Purvarjita ena punyena. Meritorious deeds. Swamiji, action done in the past, how will it result in now what we are doing? Where exactly this karma is recorded? We will say somebody in the Swargaloka sitting there, Chitragupta, writing down everything. Chitragupta means what? Hidden camera. Is it hidden camera through which Bhagavan is looking at you? No. Bhagavan is very smart. He puts his Karmapala into your head only. In your subtle body, all your karmas of the past are embedded. So you carry it yourself. Bhagavan did not create a massive computer to keep record of it. He distributed it. You carry it yourself. So all our karmas, Sanchita, Prarabdha, Aragami karmas are all within us, not anywhere outside. In our own subtle body, which is otherwise known as shuttle body, It is that place itself is where it's all hidden. And so the manifestation of the Karmapala is of twofold. One, it comes as external situations, and internally it comes as your tendency. Many people think that Karmapala is only external situations. No. Karmapala is not only an external situation, but it also the tendency to act on that situation. Let us say that if somebody comes and give you a big, nice box of Rasagulla, what is that? That is called Karmapala. All right. Now, whether to eat or not, the tendency to go and release that is also a prarabdha. It is what you call it as vasanas. If that, so therefore, the person who is bringing the Rasagulla is not under your control. That is called destiny. But whether to eat or not, that is your purushartha. Though the Karmapala comes in the form of both an external situation and internal tendency, you have control over the only one aspect of it. What? Whether to eat or not. That is where your buddhi comes into picture. Your understanding, your viveka, your vairagya, everything is in how do you handle a situation which you have not decided. Now, even a realized master may be in front of you, but you do not bow down or understand or take knowledge from him, then what do you call that? Are you lacking such Mahatmas coming to, if you got the opportunity to be in a great master, that itself is a prarabdha phalam only. That is what he's saying. Purvarjidena punyena, because of the collected merits of the past, sarve isha anugrahena cha, by the grace of the Lord also. These two create not only external situation of the right teacher for you, but also tattva jignasa. Tattvasya jnatum ichcha jayate. Tattva jignasa jayate. And yasya pritihi paramatmani. Also the love for the Lord. See, one may have tattva jignasa, but not necessarily priti for the Bhagavan. Such people, they become intellectuals. That's why in 7th chapter of Gita also, Artho Jignasur Artharthi is given these three as Udara Sarve Evete. All these three of them are great people, great devotees, no doubt. Mama Bhaktaha eva, my devotees only. But I consider Jnani one who not only has Jignasa, Jnatum Ichcha Tattvasya, Tattva Jnana Ichcha Yasya Asti, that has Jignasu. And one who has the great desire to know. But when does it become a Jnani? One who internalizes this. One who does not keep it as an external knowledge, but he loves that knowledge in such a way, he wants to own it, he wants to be it. And he knows that very self, which I'm desiring to know, is himself is Bhagavan, one who is the self of all. Jnani tu atma vameva. Tesham jnani nitya yuktaha eka bhaktihi vishishyate. So, pritihi yasya paramatmani. So, one who has merits collected from the previous actions of the previous lives, as well as in this life, one who has grace of the Lord, one who has the desire to know the highest truth, and one who has the love for the Lord. These are the four important ingredients. We may think Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampati, Ityadi. That is traditionally understood to be the qualification of the student. But here, Guruji puts it to totally different thing. In the context of Tattva Jignasa, all this will be valid. Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampati, Mumukshutvam. But there, Bhakti is not added as a qualification there in the Vedanta context, but Bhagavan Shankaracharya clearly said that moksha sadhana samagriyam bhakti reva gariyasi. Indeed, devotion excels. And also, kripa patraha sa eva is a person who is in fact a recipient of the grace from what? Who is the person who will become a most deserving student among all these things? Even if he has all this. Gurum seveta bhaktitaha saha. One who is very sincerely able to serve the Guru becomes a recipient of greatest grace. Bhavet teneva yogyata. Teneva yogyaha sadhana abhyasa tatparaha. One who has the ability, one who is serving his teacher with sincerity, such an individual become yogyaha. He becomes fit for this knowledge, and one who is ready for practicing what is being guided by the Guru. Sadhana abhyasa tatparaha. Only when one serves the teacher knows the difficulty and as well as how to overcome it. If you are reading the Vedanta books at home, Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampati, etc., there is no urge to practice. You see, that's what happens to people. Swamiji, maine pad liya, itna pad liya. But I know, but when do we practice? Once somebody asked Gurudev, Swamiji, nowadays, everything is available. Google may. At that time, Google was not there, of course. But they said that Swamiji, everything is available in the book. So why do we need a guru? Good question. Why didn't you ask that book? The book is impersonal. It cannot answer that question to you. Whenever question comes to your mind, will you ask the book? Nowadays, Swamiji, Google is there. How do you know that answer that is coming from Google is correct? Because you find one answer, then second answer will be contradictory to that. Which one is correct then? Which has a maximum hit, Swamiji? We go by the stars. How many stars is it? 5 stars is good. Okay, that must be good then. Now, see, the thing is, when we are in the company of a guru, we know what sadhana to be done and how it is to be done and what are the obstacles on the way and how to overcome. When we have only book in front of us, it doesn't have any ability to make you do anything. You have a guidebook to yoga. You read or read, never get up. How will it help you? Whereas if you go to a yoga studio, let's say, they don't show you the book first. Chalo, bite one. Now stretch. Come on. It is hard. Yes, I also started like that only. Come on, touch your toes. The person says, where is it? I can't even see it. Only my stomach is see. Where is that? Where is the toe? So the yoga teacher there, he will not start with the book. She will say, come on, start, work, find out how to stretch yourself. Slowly, 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 you will be able to. So see the difference between a person who are merely sitting with the book and a person who really goes to a teacher. So it is said, Gurum Seveta, one who serves the teacher with an intention to learn from, he becomes sadhana abhyasa tatparaha. One who has sadhana abhyas, interested in engaging in the spiritual discipline, such a person is yogya. Vedanta jnanasya yogya. Avet. So, interesting thing, the pointers here to be understood now is, in the first 2 verses also, I told you that I will give you pointers. Ganesha is the one who can give you the ability to communicate. Saraswati gives you the appropriate language. And Guru is the one who inspires you. And Sri Rama is the very abode of great love. All right. And this is the first simple things that you have to understand. Secondly, who is a person fit for this knowledge? First one, that we all have done good things because of which we are human beings. That itself is a great blessings. But how much we are utilizing the grace that we have received to be a human being. So that being a human being is itself is a grace. And then we have the prarabdha that can be overcome by our way of choosing what we want to pursue. Tattva jijnasa. And the desire to know the self, the great love for the supreme truth in the form of Bhagavan, Ishta Devata. Then proceeding on further is to find the right appropriate teacher for you and serve. And that very serving obediently to the teacher and listening to his advice, you will become fit sadhak. Sadhaka heva, the sadhaka, the seeker alone, of this kind alone, is a yogya, a person fit for this knowledge. So disciple, who's a disciple? Shishtam anucharadi shishya. So it is said, Vangmana kaya vastubihi Guru Shushushane Rataha Etadrsha Gunopedaha Shishyo Bhavati Narada. It is said, therefore, Vang Mana Kaya Vastubihi, by all that, Vastu here means wealth, with the mind, with the speech and the body, Guru Shusrushane Rataha, one who is ready to revel in the service of the teacher, Etadrisha Guna Upedaha, one who has these kind of qualities, Shishya, such a person, Shishya Bhavati. He is the real Shishya. The very word Shishtam means discipline. One who follows the discipline alone can be a disciple. So the difference between a devotee and disciple, you should understand. Many people say, Swamiji, I am Gurudev's disciple. They might have listened to 1 or 2 of his lectures. They claim, I am disciple of Gurudev. My dear, you are only a devotee. Oh, how do you say that? Disciple is one who has come under the discipline of Gurudev. See, when you see Gurudev in a lecture room, or when he speaks, Gita, and you listen to it, but you have never gone closer to him to get direct instruction from him. Only when you have direct instructions from him, then alone you become a disciple. Follow the discipline. Just because you wear a police uniform, you will not become a police. Just because you wear a white coat, you will not become a doctor. Have you gone through the training of that? Then only you can be considered. Just because you wear a white coat, In the same way, just because you have Gurudev's picture in your room, in your home, I am disciple of Gurudev. Okay, so Gavai. One should be directly instructed and say, hey, do this and don't do that, and you are following that. Then only a disciple. Otherwise, you are just an admirer, a devotee, not a disciple. Now, of course, the Vedanta gives a specific, list of things as qualification for a student of Vedanta. That is said in the verse number 3 here, page number 10. Vivekadi gunair yuktaha tivraya cha mumukshaya ayame vottama shishyaha muktasyadidi nishchitam vivekadi gunaihi yuktaha, endowed with gunas, qualities, viveka adi, viveka vairagya, shama, dama, uparati, tidiksha, shraddha, samadhanam, tada mumukshutvam. Tivraya cha mumukshaya, and also intense longing for liberation. Now, you see, which is important first, viveka or vairagya, discrimination or dispassion? They are complementing to each other. They are both complementary. How? If you know what you want, then only you give up what you don't want. Right? If you are going to a shop to buy something, there are many things available there. You won't buy everything. If you don't know what to buy, then what will happen? Then you will open a small shop in your garage. Whatever available, you just get it. And that's what happens to people. Why do you go to shop? I don't know. I'm just window shopping. My God. When you do the window shopping, the entire shop will become a part of your home then, after some time. But if you know exactly what you want, then even though others are there, you will not worry about, let it be there. I don't want it. See, when you know what you want, you will be able to give up what you do not want. Vairagya naturally comes. But if you do not know what you want, then how will your Vairagya will come? So Viveka is first. Okay, understood. But the interesting thing is, unless you have Vairagya for the world, you will not seek the highest one. So Vairagya pehle hona chahiye. When do you really seek the higher truth? Only when you are frustrated with or unhappy with all other things which you have been doing and found that it's useless. So that much of dispassion, unless you have, you will not go for moksha. तो वैराग्य पहला होना चाहिए, इसलिए मैंने बताया it has to go parallel, meaning as you start observing your own life, you realize that certain things are, most of the things are futile, they are impermanent. Not only because you learned Vedanta, but even sheer your own intellectual, honest intellectual evaluation, if you do, you know, certain things are temporary. For some time it's charming. After some time it lost its charm. So why am I doing that? So when you have that basic dispassion, vairagya, then you start looking for something permanent. When as you start looking for permanent, more and more you see things that are impermanent. From that standpoint, I see so many things that I earlier thought was important for my life also. Honestly, why I'm wasting time in this? So as you learn, you become more dispassionate. As you become more dispassionate, you will start understanding it better. And based upon Viveka and Vairagya alone, Shama, Dama, Uparaditi, Diksha, Shraddha, Samadhan, Ityadi. Control of the mind, control of the senses, keeping them quiet, engaging in the, in what is important, then faith in the highest, then tolerance about the vicissitudes of life. All that, other qualifications become more and more intense. Vivekadi guner yuktaha tivraya cha mumukshaya. With the intense mumukshutvam. Not apada vairagya. Smashana vairagya. No. And mumukshutvam is entirely depends upon the tivratva of the vairagya also. More vairagya, more mumukshutvam. More mumukshutvam, more vairagya. Tivra mumukshaya, tivraya mokshaya. Ayameva uttama shishya. Uttama shishya means the best, not a mediocre, not adama. See, adama shishya is one who will say, "Aapko moksha chahiye? Haan, aapke paas hai to de do." This is adama, the lowest rank of the mukshus. And if I get it, I'll take it. Otherwise, I'm not. So many other things I need to do. It is like some of the people, they get suddenly devotion on some specific days only. Shivaratri, Why suddenly, how did you become Shivaratri? Other days are not. Sometimes I feel very humor, I find it very humorous. Suddenly they become, morning and evening they chant. Shiva, 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 Shiva. What happened today now suddenly? Oh, this is Rudra Ekadashi. Other days, Bhagavan disappeared or what? So suddenly you become. So some people listen to the lecture and start, I am a mumukshu now. From tomorrow onwards, I am a mumukshu. It's a yoga. It is not something you decide. It has to grow. It has to slowly grow within you. It's not suddenly one. That's why the apada vairagya, sometimes who fail, they feel that, everywhere the failure, they are not getting what they want, mumukshu. You cannot be like that. So, there is Adama Adhikari. Madhyama Adhikari is one who went to the teacher and inspired by the teacher, no doubt, but does not have the ability to overcome the natural tendencies or vasanas with his own ability to, or with his own thinking and overcoming it. He always depends upon somebody like a guru to help him or her. Guru, I'm not able to help this, please. How long I can be there with you? In one of our Mahasamadhi camps, Guruji asked some of the people who have closely associated with Gurudev to speak about their association with Gurudev. And many of them came and spoke, very senior members came and spoke, and very inspiring. I didn't attend all of them, but few of them I attended. But one evening, Gurudev ji came and he said, okay, many of you spoke, but I heard one or two of them, at least one of them said that this time I could not reach moksha with the help of Gurudev. I would like Gurudev to be there in my next janma also to make me get liberated. Guruji said, Gurudev ki bhi nahi moksha nahi. They are not allowing Gurudev also to become moksha. They want to pull him also to their level. I am coming by, therefore you also better come back. We pull him to our state until we get out. So main, the guru is one who gives you the correct way of handling your own situations and problems and make you capable of doing that. Only such a person who become independently able to come out of it is uttama. Not anymore depending upon any person or anything else, but at the same time having grateful attitude towards the guru who guided him in this path. Is no more a burden to the guru, and is only a very ardent disciple and servant of the guru who gave him this knowledge and guided him. Such is the uttama adhikari. I am uttamaha, shishyaha, and therefore muktaha syaditi nishchitam. He is already liberated, I would say. A uttama adhikari is like as good as he is liberated. Gurudev used to say that, when somebody comes to your home and, the lady of the house starts to make tea or coffee, let us say she's preparing tea. And she has put only the water onto the stove. And the husband say, what is the status of the tea? It's done. But if you get into the kitchen, you see it's still boiling the water only. You said it is done. It is on the way. Of course, what else I'm going to do? Next stage is put the milk and put the powder, and then there it is. So it is definite. So Uttama Adhikari is one who has got the full-grown, well-developed Viveka Vairagya Ityadi, is definitely going to be liberated. There's no doubt about that. Mukta. So therefore, say Uttama Shishyaha Muktaha. The best student who has got all these qualities well developed, is already on the way to liberate himself. Muktaha syaditi nishchitam. Na samshayaha. It means in this there is no doubt at all. And Guruji writes the details about all the Shat Sampatti. You can read that part. Now, having talked about the adhikaritva of the Shishya, Swamiji, how do I know my guru is a guru? Okay, so malum hoga. How do I know? I am a good disciple, that I'm sure. But I don't know about the guru. Some people have this great notion. I think I am fit, but I do not know whether this guru is right or not. How do I know? It depends upon the length of the beard or amount, the kind of Rudrakshamala he wears. What is the criteria of a guru? The next topic is on qualification of a guru. Now, here, verse number 1 and the page number 18. Shrotriyo brahmanishtascha naiva kamahatascha saha dayalurdeshiko dakshaha Shishya Prashna Nivarakaha. First and foremost thing is he must be a Shrotriyaha. Meaning what? He must have studied the scriptures thoroughly from his own teacher. Shrutim Janadi Shrotriyaha. Now, Shrutim Janadi, meaning one who has understanding of the Shruti. Now you see, Shrutim Janadi Shrotriyaha is one definition. Shrutim Shravana Margena Janati iti Shrotriya. This is most important. Studying of the scriptures can be twofold, as I have earlier said. You can study the book yourself, but only when he has studied under the tutelage of a teacher by listening. He is only a Shrotriya. Shrotriya is not a scholar. He has heard it from his teacher, and that hearing is what makes the conviction. Because a teacher who is established in the highest truth, when such a teacher teaches, as Kathopanishad would say, he cannot but understand. It cannot be otherwise. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. One who has the right teacher will know it for sure. Because understand one thing, any knowledge that you have gained to begin with started with listening. Any language that you learned is because of you listened. The first mother tongue also, you don't know how to read. How did you learn? How did you learn the mother tongue? Mother's tongue. From the mother speaking to you constantly. That's how you learned the Shabda. Similarly, Guru Upadeshat, by the teachings of the Guru, Shravanena, Yaha, Shastram Janati, Shastrajna, Saeva Shrotriya. It's not a one merely read the book, because it is said that even the study becomes more useful and more powerful only when it is already taught to you by the teacher. Yasya deve parabhaktihi yata deve tada guru tasya artaha kaditahi artaha prakashante mahatmanaha in Shvetashvara Upanishad. One who has devotion to the Guru as much as he has for God, such a person to whom the knowledge will reveal itself. You don't need to struggle much, because you have already heard it from the Guru. When you open the book and look at it, what he had told you will come to open it up itself. Because the authority of the Guru and the pramana of his words will come to substantiate what you are reading. It is definitely a difference between when you are reading a book of a person written by a person whom you know versus whom you don't know. Think about it. Let us say that you have a friend who is also a journalist or a writer. It's often my own experience when I open a book and start reading what is, like Guruji, is written this. When I read the commentary, or I feel as if he is talking to me, because I've heard Guruji, right? So when he is reading his, what is printed here, it looks like he's talking, because I know him. I've heard Gurudev. So when you read the commentary of book written by Gurudev, it's as though he's talking to you. You can hear his own voice coming through those words. Whereas if you're reading a book of a person whom you have never met, it will go flat. It will not impress you. His opinion, so what? That is why Shravanena Jnana. Knowledge first takes place by listening, and then it gets strengthened by reading and reflecting. That is a Shrotriya. And he is not only a person who has knowledge, but he is abiding in that. Brahmanishtahascha. Nishta nitaram sthanam. He who has a complete attunement with that Brahman. Brahmanishta does not mean he secluded himself in solitude somewhere and not available. No. As Sri Ramana Maharshi would say, that Sahaja Samadhi Sthitihi Jivan Muktasya Sthitihi. He is naturally and effortlessly in that state. There is no more struggle there. Sahaja. Such a person alone is a Jivan Mukta. Whereas a person who has secluded himself in solitude and then staying there is a yogi. Samadhistaha. That's so interesting. In second chapter, if you look at carefully, the question raised by Arjun there, Sthita prajnasya kabasha samadhistasya keshava. If you look at it, samadhistasya, one who is abiding in samadhi, in solitude, Sthita prajnasya kabasha. What is the description of that person? Sthidadir kim prabhasheda kim asayeda vrajeda kim. On the other hand, what is the nature of those people who have come out of samadhi, yet dealing with the world? What does he speak? How does he walk? Samadhistaha na bhashanam karoti, na chalati. He doesn't move about, he doesn't talk, and he doesn't. So he's not talking about that. I want to know the description of the one who is in samadhi as well as the one who is out of that and dealing with the world. About what is he speaks, how does he walk about, where does he sit? Sthidadihi. That's why he call him as Sthidadihi, a steady intellect. Siddhadihi kim prabhasheta kim asida vrajeta kim. So the guru is not samadhistaha, but nishta. Nishta means what? Sthidadihi. One who is abiding in the self while he being a teacher who is able to teach as well. If the guru is a solitude and he is withdrawn, what teaching you will get from him? You will look at him, he will be just in samadhi. He will just watch, look at him. That's all. Some people come and say, Swamiji, that Mahatma is very great. You know why? For the past 20 years, never spoke. And what are you going to get out of that then? How do you learn? What do you learn? And finally, you understood that he has never spoken any time from his birth only. How can Mahatma ho gaya? People are very funny, They take anybody and everybody as Mahatma. This is problem. ये बोलता नहीं है, कुछ teaching भी नहीं करता है, Mahatma कैसे हो गया भाई? But maybe he is a great personality about himself, but he is not going to guide anybody by giving them correct instruction, correct teachings. Then, of course, those people can tune to his mind, then probably they will learn. But such rare are the people who can tune to that. And when you closely observe these Mahatmas, who is a Shrotriya Brahmanishta, na eva kama hadaha yaha saha. He is not affected by desire. Kamena na hataha. By kama, he is not killed by, not by disturbed by kama. Desire is not disturbing him. What do you mean by that? Swamiji, he should not have any desire. What's the question of not getting disturbed by desire? It is said in Gita itself that in the person who is also established in the self, there arises kama due to prakriti. But he is not disturbed by that. That is the point here. It is not that desire. Gurudev used to say, if you are desireless, lie down. You are ready to be taken into the smashan. Desire will come, but he is not disturbed by that. Yeah, mind has its own peculiarities. It will come. I know that. It's okay, let it be. and look at and smile it, and it'll go away. So, na kamahatah, na eva kamahataschasah. But he has one desire. What? To help those who are on the path. Dayalu, daya parah, kripa samudraha. A man of compassion, an ocean of compassion. Darshikaha, he is a deshikaha, one who is also able to guide. Deshikaha means what? One who is able to show the direction. One who is able to give the direction. Upadesha varyaha. Upadesham karoti eva shishyaya. So he definitely gives the correct advice to the students according to their degree of maturity. And the guru definitely knows that all of them cannot be given the same instruction. Just like a doctor knows, according to the nature of the disease and the health condition of this patient alone will be the prescription of medicine. In the same way, the guru also knows the state of mind of the student, and accordingly the guidance should be given, not the general guidance for everybody. Say, take the same pill. No. Dayaluhu deshikaha dakshaha. Expert. Expert in is what? Again, evaluating the student's mind, understanding of the maturity of the student, and interpreting the scripture as it is possible for the student to understand. Today also I was in another context, I was telling, if you look at how Krishna is advising Arjuna in the battlefield versus a guru in an ashram advising a disciple, there is a vast difference in it, though the subject matter is the same. Where a Kshatriya is standing there confused about whether to fight or not, what should he talk to him about? Take sannyas, is it? And in fact, that's what Arjun wants to do. No. Whereas if a disciple, a fit disciple coming to a guru in a solitude, in an ashram, he will not ask him to get up and go and fight. He will not do that. So what is the maturity of the student who has given up everything and coming to an ashrama to learn from a teacher versus a person right in the battlefield ready to fight a war? Do you think the treatment of the subject is the same? Though the subject matter is the same. Daksha. Efficient to know how to make that knowledge suitable for the student. Prashna nivarakaha, shishya prashna nivarakaha. Nivaranam karoti, nivarakaha. Meaning, he also removes the doubt of the student, knowing what kind of a doubt will come to the mind of the student. Not that every time the student has to ask. You can see in Shankara Bhashya and many other places where the Bhashyakar is very clear about, so some out of focus it will come. Once in a while this happens. Out of focus. This is what happens to disciple also. Suddenly out of focus it will become. Isn't it out of focus suddenly? Is it okay now? Not yet. What can I do? This camera behaves on its own. Hello. Oh, it became worse. I think it is tuned for 1 hour only. Beyond 1 hour, it says, come on, out of focus. What can I do? best. Let us say, anyway, you know my face. Why do we need to worry about it? Now, what I was telling about. So the teacher must be capable of understanding the quality. And Shishya Prashna Nivarakaha. He must be able to remove the doubts from the mind of the student. As Shankaracharya sometimes, in his Bhashya, he would say, okay, if in this case, if you have this question, or he will put a Purvapakshi himself. A person who has a doubt comes to have this question. If this question arises, this is the answer. So sometimes the disciple may not be, efficient enough to have that question. The teacher, anticipating that particular question may arise, should be able to teach that. Because later on, when he sits for Mananam and that question comes, then what will you do? So before even that arises, in the case when you are doing Mananam, this question may come. And here is the answer for that. That way, he's not afraid of questions. In any other, if you see all our Shastras, whether Upanishad you take or the Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, in all the places you see, it is Samvad. It is in the form of conversation between the Guru and the disciple. It is not a thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not steal. It is not instructions. It's a conversation. And you are not denied answers, not blasphemy if you ask questions. How dare you ask questions? No. You have every right to ask questions. And if I don't answer, I will accept that I don't have an answer. I'm not running away from you. I'm not afraid of your questions. See, once it is an experience, how can there be doubt? Now you see, fire is hot or not, or if I ask you, if you touch fire, is it hot or not? I have my own opinion about it. You will have opinion only when it is not your experience. You have any doubt? Fire is hot or not? Why? Because I have put my hand and I know. There is no doubt in my mind that it is hot. It will burn my finger. That I know very well. There's no doubt about that. So a guru who has a personal experience neither doubts himself nor he will doubt the doubts of others. You will have that doubt until you experience. I'll tell you, therefore, this is the way to go. And it is that the teaching is also based upon what? This is how I went. This is how I experienced. That's why in Kena Upanishad also, he very clearly says, I do not know how else to teach. Idi susrama purvesham yena sattvayacha chakshire. This is how we were taught, and this is how I will translate that to you. So this way, Shishya Prashna Nivarakaha. So, Matsya Purana says, Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu Yokita Yashubhaya cha Vartade Sadadam Hrishtaha Kriya Hesha Daya Smrta. What is Daya? Because it is written Dayalu, right? Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu. In all beings, as though their own self, yo hitaya shubhaya cha vartate. For their own benefit, for their own good, one who lives, hrishtaha, joyfully, kriyahi esha daya smrta. When he does that action with that feeling of love for all living beings, such a person is said to have the true daya. Daya is not sympathy or pity, Somebody is helpless, let me have pity, pitiable fellow. That is not what here it is. Here, daya is identifying oneself with the other's self, not their problems. When I identify myself with your own self, then I know that you are me, myself, At the same time, there is a distance between that self and what you are right now. I want to bridge that connection and make sure that you reach that point. Therefore, a guru is a connecting link between you and yourself. He brings that connection. And with great love, he takes you there through the teaching. That is why the guru is avashyakam. Even though physical body is given by the parents, the true janma is by the guru only. Physical janma is from your parents, but the spiritual birth takes place in the presence of a guru. And another good quality about the guru is he invites the best of the students to come to him all the time. Not that he will reject others, but he always prays that those seekers who really want to know must come to me in plenty. I'm ready to give the guidance. This next verse says, Ayantu bahava shishya viraktascha mumukshavaha evamichan pratiksheta Guru Shreshta Sarvada. Shreshta Guru, the bestie of the teacher is one, great teacher. Sarvada, at all times. Bahavaha Shishyaha Viraktaha Mumukshavaha Ayantu. Ayantu, may they come. Who? Bahavaha, many. Shishyaha, disciples, who are Mukshavaha Viraktaha, men who are desiring to be free, and those who are really dispassionate about everything else. Evam Ichan, desiring this way, Pratiksheta Guru, who waits. Pratiksham Karoti, he waits for the best of the ones to come. You know, when Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa was approached by Narendra Datta he was. And he actually came with his own friends. Because they all heard that there is such a person is there in this area, one in the vicinity of Calcutta, who seemed to have, who claims that he has seen God. So let us go and see. They all went, friends went there. And when they went, and then there was a small satsang was going on, Ramakrishna Paramahansa was sitting there. And then the bhajans were going on. Suddenly Ramakrishna Paramahansa looked at Narendra Datta, said, "You sing." Even though he could sing, but he said, suddenly, why is he picking me? Okay, then he sang. When he sang, Ramakrishna Paramahansa went into the state of samadhi. He got completely merged into that nishta, what he calls that as a transcendental experience. Withdrawn completely. And when he finished the singing bhajan, the tears in the eyes these eyes were filled with tears. Ashrupurna kulekshana. So then he looked at Narendra. Where were you all this time? I was waiting for you. Narendra had no clue about this. What? Waiting for me? You don't even know me. Later only he realized the Guru knows who's coming to him. And once he reached the portal of Ramakrishna, he never went back. That's such an attraction between the Guru and the Shishya, as like a magnet and the iron filing that stuck thereafter. Thereafter, there is no question of separation. And Next time he himself went. Narendra Datta, he went, and his students, his friends didn't go. So then Ramakrishna Paramahamsa asked, where are your friends? So he said, they went for some other, events where they were dancing and something else was going on. And as usual, nowadays also people go for such, going in other directions. So he's very interesting. He said, Narendra Datta said, I am in the Kirtana, they are in the Nartaki. Kirtana, Nartaki, there's the difference, it's the opposite. I am with the Kirtana, they are with the Nartaki dance. He except all other friends, he alone came back because he is the fit student. And the Guru knows exactly who it is. Ayantu bhavaha shishyaha. May all those disciples come. Viraktaha, mumukshavaha. Men who have dispassion. Again, viraktatvam does not mean dveshatvam. One should understand this. Viraktaha, not dveshi, is not a person who hates the world. Very often we see the definition of Virakta Purusha is what? One who is disliking the world, unhappy with the world, frustrated with the world. Nay. Now you see, when I am not interested in something, can I hate it? The moment you hate, when I say I hate something, it only shows I have a value for it. If it is not even part of your mind, if it is not even has anything to do with in your life, why do you hate then? You don't need to hate. Hatred only shows you still have a connection. You're thinking about it. If I am a teetotaler, let us say, I am, don't doubt it. Now, if you give in front of me a bottle of whiskey, do I hate it? No. Why? Let it be so. What am I got to do with that? If you want, you take it. If it is in front of me, I don't, because I have no inclination to neither drink it, not to throw it away. Let it be there. It is not disturbing me. I'm not disturbing it. So, but Swamiji, if somebody takes a picture of you with that, So dvesha, na dveshti, na kankshati. See that Bhagavan says. Neyasya nitya sannyasi yo na dveshti, na kankshati. Neither he hates nor he desires it. So viraktatvam, na dveshatvam. It not to be misunderstood as a person of hatred or one who dislikes the world, runs away from the world, tries to escape it. No, he is very comfortable. He says, let it be there. So what? But at the same time, they are mumukshus. But they want the best. They want the highest freedom. So such mumukshus may come, shishyaha bahavaha ayantu. Evamichan pratiksheta. He waits, as Ramakrishna Paramahamsa waited for. They had so many others also next to him at that point. But he knows this one is in the masterpiece. If he knows what he is for, what he is there with him, he will become a best of the teachers. So that's why he was paying extra attention on Narendra. And he paid extra attention, and Narendra also came to know how important is that Guru, even though he was not a university educated like he was. He was a university educated graduate. He was going to Arya Samaj, Brahma Samaj. and arguing about nature of Brahman, many other things, scholarly understanding he had. When I was in Calcutta years back, once I was once somebody was taking me, one very elderly gentleman, Bengali, and he was taking me to some, interior parts of Bengal, in Calcutta. And then we went to a restaurant, a very old restaurant, very, very old restaurant. And then even that, the fan was and old, anytime it can fall on your head. So he made me sit in the table next to it. And when he sat there, it's a wooden table, very old. I sat there. Then he went inside and asked for some tea to be brought. And he came and sat with me. And he looked at me and said, "Do you know where you're sitting?" "Yeah, in this restaurant." That is the exact seat where Vivekananda sat when he was a student in the nearby university. And he used to sit here and argue about nature of Atman and Brahman with his Brahma Samaj members. That's exactly the city. They have preserved that, but not like any other monument of Vivekananda, but this hotel is still there. It's very interesting. I was so thrilled to be there. And I said, what? So think about it. I mean, that building must be, I don't know whether it's still there or not. But I was so moved by the thing that he used to be there in that vicinity. And they said that he used to be a very active member of Brahma Samaj. And so he was not convinced about physical experience of God, because Brahma Samaj, they don't believe in the physical aspect of the Brahman, right? The Saguna Swarupa, they don't accept that. Nirguna Upasaka, Nirguna Brahma, they believe in. So, but when he came to know about Ramashna Paramahamsa, who was an experiencer of the physical form of Devi, he was very skeptic. And to that skeptic mind, he went there to meet him, only to realize that what he had been arguing all the while has been wrong. There is possibility of really experiencing the presence of the God in whichever form you want. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhaya architam ichchati. Bhagavan has said, whichever form a person worships, I will create Shraddha in that form for that devotee. So, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he could experience that Brahman in the form of Devi in his own life. So, that is what has what you call the paradigm shift in the mind of Vivekananda, later Vivekananda. So, it's interesting that the meeting of a guru and shishya is a great, historical situation. That fit teacher and fit student meeting the exact guru who could give him the correct guidance. And he waits for such a student. Such is the guru, Sreshtaha. We'll see more of it in the next class. Okay, I hope the camera refocuses itself properly. Sorry for that. I will change it tomorrow. Again, meet tomorrow at the same time. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhat bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.